Sex is sacred energy exchange. Your DNA and energy is exchanged, creating an emotional bond on the astral plane, which connects your soul with their soul, their emotions with your emotions. Don't have sex with just anyone. Their trauma and emotions can affect you. Sex is a sacred ritual which invokes a soul into the physical world, because the woman holds a portal and the man holds the key to open the portal from the astral into the physical plane. Performing sex with a negative mindset will invoke a negative soul. You must perform the ritual properly. Don't waste your sexual energy. This energy creates a human life. Transmute it to create something else. You shouldn't release unless you're making a baby. Releasing is making you mineral deficient and flooding your brain with dopamine, which is the brain's reward system. Releasing is tricking yourself that you've achieved something. This is why you have no drive, no passion, no energy, because you're tricking your brain that you've achieved something already. Women store DNA from every man they've made love with, which could even affect their offspring. In order for creation, there must be destruction. A woman goes through pain to give birth to a beautiful child. Every time you release, you're killing your creativity, your drive. Don't have sex with just anyone, and don't release your fluids. Mineral deficiency is linked to balding. I'll see you inside of Ethereal University. If you join now, you get a free sexual alchemy course before the prize goes. Freemasons use this symbol, sword and a heart. The heart is a symbol of the soul, and the soul speaks to you through emotion. This is why we say follow your heart. If you are jealous of someone else, that's your soul telling you that's where you need to be in life. If you have a fear of something, that's your soul telling you you need to overcome this to reach your life purpose. The heart is the guidance that tells us what is right and what is wrong. It guides us through this human experience. Now let's break down the sword. Swords swing through the air. The air is our mind. The mind is our intellect. It must coexisted. The Last Supper is astrology. Each body part is ruled by a zodiac. Aries the lamb rules the head, which is why he's on the head of the table. Taurus rules the neck. He has a very thick neck for Taurus the bull. The next sign is Gemini. Gemini is the two arms, the two twins. That's why his hands are up for the two twins. Next sign is Cancer, the crab with pinchers. He's holding a knife for the pincher of Cancer. The next sign is Leo, when the sun is powerful, radiant and summer. That's why he's showing dominance with a clenched fist and an elbow on the table. The next sign is Virgo, the virgin. He's pointing that there's no Adam's apple. This is a woman of Virgo, the virgin. Jesus is the sun, the light of the world, the risen savior, the son of God. He's placed in a triangle to symbolize the sun's rays. One hand up for the daytime, one hand down for the taking away of the sun at nighttime. Libra is when the sun is balanced between summer and the winter. That's why Libra is the balanced scales, and the symbol is a half rising sun. That's why he's holding his arms out balanced. Next sign is Scorpio, with this man pointing upwards. Scorpio is our reproductive sexual organs. He's pointing up because you must raise your sexual energy up to Aries. That's why Aries is an anagram for arise. They're in 4 groups of 3 because there are 3 months in each season: Luke, Mark, John and Matthew. Spring, summer, fall, winter. Jesus is the sun, which is our soul. Spring is our physical body, summer is our spirit, fall is our emotions, winter. Man managed to prove and reveal the terrible truth that we are all being watched. He conducted a simple experiment on Google Maps and its traffic congestion feature. Simon Weckert achieved this by collecting a total of 99 phones from friends, rental companies and family. He then placed all of these phones in a cart and walked along the roads of Germany, which had virtually no traffic. Despite the lack of traffic, his phone showed that there was heavy amounts of traffic on the roads that he was walking on. From this, Simon calculated that Google Maps calculates traffic congestion based upon the amount of phones clustered in one area. His theory turned out to be correct, as all the cell phones were signaling heavy traffic on the empty roads he was walking on. This is quite scary because who knows what data they can collect about us through these devices. Is it a coincidence the word iPhone has I within it, which means the inner self? Our phones are pretty much extensions of our minds. That's how powerful you are. Imagination is the key. Every physical object is born from the imagination. Magi nation. You're a magician. You're a magic nation. You bring thought into physicality. That's how powerful you are. And you must figure out that you are before this physical external reality. You weave your path. You weave your life through the thought and emotion. You are the creator of your reality. You need to take control of it. And if you don't take control of it, the programs they install in your mind will. If you don't control your reality, external reality will control you. Your circumstances are an externalization of your thought. You have thought your way into this reality. Therefore, you must think your way out of your circumstances. Breakfast is break fast because they don't want you fasting to regenerate your body. So they programmed you to eat dense food in the morning, and then when you're tired by 10 p.m. you need poison coffee for more energy. All you need to do is to fast till 2 p.m. Then have fruit or a smoothie, something easy on the digestive system. 60% of your energy goes to the digestive system. So when you fast, this energy can be redirected into regenerating your body and producing stem cells. Your body's encoded with self-regenerating technology. That's why you cut yourself, it heals automatically. It's the same with illness. Your body knows how to heal the illness you have. You just have to move out of your acidic environment to an alkaline environment. So your body doesn't waste its time fighting off the toxic food you place in. Instead, it can redirect this energy into healing the body. Healing is not an overnight process. It takes months of an alkaline diet and fasting every week, and using these herbs to detoxify your temple. Meat, dairy, and these unnatural foods all cause inflammation in your body. Carrots are not healthy. Potatoes are not healthy. Broccoli and white rice, these things are all unnatural and made by humans. Your body only recognizes what was here on the day of creation, such as apples, figs, pears, strawberries, and all organic things. You are God. Everything physical began as a thought. This pencil, this book, this keyboard all began as a thought in the mind. The world around you is the effect of God's mind. He thought this reality into existence. You are living in the mind of God. You are a thought in the mind of God. You possess a mind, a fractal of God's mind. Just like God thought this reality into existence, you are a smaller version of God and you use your mind to bring thought into physical reality. It's a fractal repeating process of manifestation. You're probably thinking, well, what does this mean? This means you are a creator. You are a magician bringing non-physical thoughts into tangible reality. It means God is not in the sky, and God is someone who can't save you. You save yourself by mastering your mind, because your mind can be a prison and it can be hell if you live in negative mind states. Every religion stems from self-mastery of the mind. By cleansing the mind and purifying your mental state and gaining full control over your mind, you can consciously direct thoughts and energy to the things you want to create in your life, instead of wasting all of your mind's energy on lust, food, and low-level pleasures. The name, the job, the reputation, and any external thing is not God. The true I am, the true source consciousness within you, is God. Climb the pyramid to higher consciousness and purify yourself of these external factors. And in this state is when the mind can create efficiently. Black Friday sale, use code GIFT. It's a soul system, not a solar system. You started in the stars and you entered the heart of the soul system, which rearranged spells Earth. You took on the 7 energies of consciousness, the 7 planets. That's why you have 7 chakras and the 7 days of creation. You started in the stars. That's why you are a star, a cis star, monster, fraud star. That's why we need to reach for the stars and ascend to our astral body. Our astral body is the star body, the celestial body. You descended from spirit to matter, from the stars to the earth, and turned into the Anunnaki. Anu, the sky god, represents spirit. Ki, the god of the earth, represents matter. Together they gave birth to the Anunnaki. Anu and Ki, spirit and matter. You are the Anunnaki. You incarnated into a specific, unique time and place of the planets and the stars. which imprinted a specific energy in you. This is why stars. This is why you have a midlife crisis at 33. Because Saturn takes 33 years to go around the zodiac. Saturn is in the exact same position from when you were born at age 33. And Saturn is the aspect of your consciousness that limits you and makes you learn. This book has changed thousands of people's lives. Black Friday sale, 40% off, use the code GIFT. Have you ever wondered why the word ship is at the end of everything? There's a hidden spell behind every word. Your body is 60% water, and you were born through your mother's waters. When a ship pulls up to its bay, it's called the birth canal. The ship gives birth to the products on the ship. When the ship arrives, it gets a certificate of manifest certifying all the products on the ship. When you arrive in your mother's water, you get a certificate of manifest, which is your birth certificate, because you are a product to the system. On that birth certificate, there's a date. And that date is the Gregorian calendar, which is a copyrighted timeline created by Pope Gregory. Therefore, on paper, your name is a corporation and it's signed to a copyrighted timeline. When you get a letter and your name is in full capital letters, that's your corporation, not you. You can't tax a physical body, but you can tax a corporation. You are the I am, and your consciousness is identifying itself with the corporation, which is attached to the system. The word calendar comes from calends, which is the first day of the month the Romans had to pay their tax. God's calendar is a 28-day moon cycle. They made an artificial calendar to control you. Bank is a river bank, and money is water. That's why money in the bank is called a currency, because the banks direct the flow of the current. And that's why we call it liquidity. The English language is a giant spell to keep you attached to the system. These CIA documents reveal that thought waves can become a physical particle. Thoughts manipulate your universal hologram, which is your electromagnetic field. This proves that we are in a three-dimensional construct, which is a holographic world, and your thoughts and emotions manipulate this three-dimensional construct. You literally create your own reality based off your thoughts. You are an invisible consciousness, which is controlling this physical avatar, which manipulates the holographic construct of the external world through your thoughts and emotions. The things you own in life, the friends you have, are all reflections of your past thoughts. You are a result of your thoughts. The elites know this knowledge, and this is why they keep you on the lowest vibration possible, so that you manifest the worst possible reality. This is why they're called a government. Ment means mind. They govern your mind through information. Your information is your perception, and your perception is your reality. The word of the day is, people, you can get anything you want in this life just by working and changing your thoughts. When you change your thoughts, further down the line, your external world will change, because your external world mirrors your thoughts. We are literally in a holographic game, people. Words are secretly encoded, and they cast spells on your subconscious mind, because your subconscious mind takes everything you say as diet has the word die, because the food they tell you to eat nowadays makes you sick. Meat has the word eat, which is a subconscious spell for you to consume blood and flesh, because consuming this food keeps you stuck in third-dimensional awareness, in the lowest state of consciousness. Veganism is an anagram for saving me, because when you stop consuming flesh, your consciousness can raise past the 3D construct. Animals are easily programmed and tamed like a pet, and this is why they want you to consume it, because you are what you eat. Your cells every 90 days turn into the food that you've consumed. This is why the population is aging at a rapid rate, because the food that we are consuming is dead. When we eat electrical live foods, we age less. Slaughter has the word laughter, because they want you to laugh at the slaughtering of animals. Words create perception, and the food industry utilize more neutral words to create a better perception in your mind. Instead of saying beef flesh, they say beef mince. Or instead of saying a chicken fetus, they say egg. Or rotten cheese is milk. Fluids in your body are in a cycle, a rhythm with the moon, because the moon affects the liquids in your body. This is why women have a menstrual cycle, every month. So the full moon is a high energy. This is when the liquids in your body are being pulled the most by the celestial moon. Sun is masculine, the moon is feminine. emotion, and intellect. So the emotion is being affected by the moon, which is our mood. So on a full moon, this is when the lunatics come out. When the moon enters the sign that you were born in, your sun sign, a sacred fluid is released from the brain down to the spine, and we must raise this up the 33 vertebrae of our spine to be crucified in the skull, Golgotha. The planets are not physical rocks, they are energies which influence the earth and our bodies, our consciousness. Astrology is so important, and this is why the ancients mapped the celestial constellations. This book has everything you need to know. The link is in my bio. The Book of Wisdom PDF or paperback. Freemasons always place the east at the top of their artwork and the north and south on the sides. This is because they understand the true cosmology of this realm, but you don't. North is the center of this realm. This is where all compasses point to, because the Earth's electromagnetic field and all this energy centers at this point. It's the strongest point. South is anywhere that goes opposite from the center. So if you walk this way, that is south, and that is south, and that is south. West is when you go left around the magnetic pole. This is anti-clockwise. If you were here and started walking west, you would end up in the exact same spot. East is the clockwise turn around the center axis. So if you were here and walked east, you would end up in the exact same position. With that being said, east is the right turn, left is the west turn. They always show the ladder to the east. Why? Because the ladder is your spine, and the east means the right, which is the right hemisphere of your brain. In short, the right hemisphere produces a holistic view of reality. So this sees humanity as one unified consciousness. The left hemisphere breaks this down into individuals. This sees the trees, this sees the whole woods. So when Jesus says, cast the net onto the right hand side of the boat and you will find fish, this represents cast your awareness into the right hemisphere and you will see the unification of the universe. You will see the higher self. This is the higher self. This is the ego. You will realize everything is connected and everything is all one. Use the code WISE20, all capital letters, for more information. Read this book. 13 is not unlucky, they made you scared. 13 adds up to 4. The number 4 is your fourfold nature: mental, emotional, etheric and physical. 4 seasons of the yearly cycle, 4 gospels, the cross is the 4. Jesus has 12 disciples for the 12 zodiac signs. He is the 13th because it represents human consciousness. We are all the universe experiencing itself. We are all Christ, we are all God. The 12 zodiacs go around us because they are the energies that influence our mind, body and spirit. 13 is not an evil number. The word sacred is scared because they want you scared of the sacred things so that you do not do your research. The Bible is filled with cryptograms, metaphors, allegories and astrological codes. Jesus is not God. We should not worship God. We should become the God self, the best version of ourselves. No one is coming to save you. You have to save yourself. The number one mistake that you make is that you think they wear jewelry just because they are rich. Firstly, the crowns are made out of gold and other gemstones like crystals, which all contribute to amplifying the frequency of your energetic field. Usually they wear purple to symbolize royalty. They wear this on the head because the head is connected to your crown chakra, your highest state of consciousness, which is purple. A lot of ancient cultures used to be decked out in jewelry. They used to hold canes with metal on the bottom and the top because the earth produces magnetic energy, and by grounding, you are actually amplifying your field. When the body is producing a high frequency because of the amplified field, they would be able to sync up with a higher consciousness. This is why you should fill your spaces with precious metals and crystals, because the atoms that create these metals and gemstones are resonating on a high frequency. I have a few of these orgonite technology necklaces left. If you want one, the link is in the bio. My new favorite thing to do is to show you how powerful you are. We are intelligently designed. The eyes contain 137 million cells within 1 square inch in the retina. To put this into perspective, this is 1 million dots and this is 1 square inch. And this is your retina. Your retina consists of 137 million cells. They say this is because of evolution, which is just another theory created by Charles Darwin, a Freemason. Everything physical you see comes from the invisible. Everything you see in the physical plane was manifested by the mind. The phone that you are holding was an idea in someone's mind before they manifested it physically. So therefore, the whole physical world that you see exists within the mind of God. Essentially, we are all existing in the mind of God, and we are all God fractured into separate bodies. This is why Michelangelo painted God within the brain, because the pineal gland is the connection to the mind, which is the divine or God. And one more thing before you go. If you don't believe in God, then you are delusional, because this painting was painted by a painter. Therefore, this physical world was manifested from the mind of God, and we are a microcosm of that mind, and we can use our minds to create things within God's creation. We are made in His image. We are a fracture. If you believe in evolution and no God, debate me. Heaven and hell are states of consciousness. 144,000 faithful Christians will go to heaven. This is nothing but a frequency to go from the root chakra to the crown. When you achieve this frequency, you gain the armor of God, which is the strong electromagnetic field to protect you. Raising the frequency of this field is what allows you to pass the veils from the physical into the higher realms of consciousness. Devil is de-veil, because doing evil, doing the devil, lowers your state of consciousness. The resurrection of Christ is nothing but a metaphor for rising the erection, rising your sexual energy up to the head. The devil is red because it represents the lowest frequency, which is the root chakra. Keeping your emotions in balance and your thoughts and actions aligned with the divine mind, the higher self, this is how you reach the highest states. By doing this, you gain the Holy Spirit, your spiraling electromagnetic field. Even the food that we are consuming is keeping our bodies, minds, and spirits stuck in the lower states of consciousness, third dimensional awareness. To reach these higher states, you have to go from acid to alkaline, Saturn to the sun, Satan to Christ. You have to consume the food that contains the high amounts of electricity and energy. This book provides you with all of the syncretisms between science and religion, and everything you need to know in one book. Stop listening to music. It's bad because it reprograms your subconscious mind by putting you in a hypnotic state. You want to dance or do something when you listen to music because it puts you in hypnosis. You remember the lyrics so vividly because it rewrites your subconscious mind. Every word they are saying in the song is molding and shaping your mind in some form or way. Why do you think you want to hurt someone when you listen to drill music, or want to dance hard when you listen to techno? When you listen to music, you literally cannot think because it's putting you in hypnosis. Spotify and Apple Music are all tuned to 440 Hz, which shuts down the right hemisphere of your brain because they do not want you thinking creatively or intuitionally. Music creates thought loops within your mind. This is why you feel nostalgia when you listen to an old song you used to listen when you were a child. The repetitive music and beats creates thought loops in your mind. In nature, nothing is repeating. Everything is constantly transforming. It's the same with your mind. Your mind should be constantly transforming to bigger and better things. Listen to music in 432 Hz or 528 Hz and make sure it has no demonic lyrics and no repetitive. The toroidal field is a multi-dimensional energy pattern. It is a universal blueprint in which all energy and matter manifests. It can be visualized as a donut-shaped configuration where energy is in a continuous loop. The central axis in which the energy goes in and then back out is called the hyperboloid. And this corresponds with our spines. Our spines are also a hyperboloid for this electromagnetic torus field. The flow of energy within our torus field and our body follows the same principles that govern the larger universal patterns. Thoughts and emotions are also forms of energy which manifest through our electromagnetic torus field. A stone thrown into water will create ripples, which will create incandescent circles which travel outward. This is the two-dimensional representation of how we visualize sound waves. In three-dimensional space, sound waves propagate in all directions, which creates a spherical wave front. When these sound waves expand, they create the torus field shape. When we speak, we create vibrational waves which expand in all directions into torus fields. And this is why talking is called torque, torus fields. The words we say have an effect on other people's fields and your fields itself, affecting reality in all directions. Your body is a prison. The real matrix is your consciousness being stuck in third-dimensional awareness, the physical body. Every religion teaches that this world is the false world and there is a heaven or another base reality. You're made out of cells, a prison cell, and your ribcage is a cage. This is why the Bible says, do not love this world nor the things it offers you. Your mind operates outside of this physical plane without time, space, and matter and no limitations. Therefore, material addiction and emotions is what ties you to the physical plane. But heaven is not what you think. Sin means sine, which is time, the sine wave of time. And Negative emotions such as hate, fear, and jealousy only exist in a world of time. Therefore, love, contentment, and joy can exist without time. Therefore, your emotions is what takes you away from God, which is your higher self, your higher mind, your pure consciousness, which exists outside of this physical body. This is why you call it my body. This is mine. It's a possession. It's not you. You are the I am. There is another plane beyond the physical plane called the astral plane, and this is where the realm of imagination or spirits are, and you can enter this through astral projection. Heaven is the higher astral realms where your mind can operate without limitation. Snakes and ladders is truth in plain sight. Your spine is the ladder and the kundalini is the snake. The snake in the tree of knowledge of good and evil is also the kundalini in the central nervous system, the spine up to the brain. The serpent is always tempting you to release your sexual energy, because sexual energy is the most powerful and potent emotion the human can feel. So when you overcome it, you are fighting the snake. And when you retain this energy, you can then resurrect, which means rise-erection. Raising the erection to the brain to illuminate the pineal gland. Why do you think the word sex has the S in it, which is the serpent, the sexual essence? If you release your fluids all the time, you will become mineral deficient. Your sexual energy is the most powerful and potent energy within your body. It is your soul force. Even if you're not transmuting this energy into kundalini, you can transmute it into critical thinking or other aspects of your life. Watching them dirty websites and masturbating all the time will destroy your mental health, because in your mind you are literally that person in the corner of a room watching two people have pleasure. What you do in your alone time will manifest into light into other aspects of your life. This is why you will not be confident, you will not radiate, because you know what you are doing on a deep level on your own, and you know it's disgusting. Spirituality is a psyop, people. It's all about your mind. It's about transmuting all the negative aspects of your mind into positive. When you change your mind, you change your body, your life, and your spirit. Porn drains your sexual energy, which is your orange chakra, and this is why it's orange. Sexual energy takes over the mind and influences your body. This is why it's the most potent emotion the human can feel. It is symbolized as the serpent tempting you to eat the fruit, because it's tempting you to release your sacred fluids. Sexual transmutation is transmuting the sexual energy into other aspects of your life. It can either be kundalini, critical thinking, or even the gym. The spine has two coils wrapped around it, which is the energy channels for your kundalini to go up to the brain. The resurrection of Christ is nothing but a metaphor for rise erection, rising your erection sexual energy to the pineal gland to activate 100% of our brains, to activate Christ consciousness. This is known as being born again and seeing the kingdom of God in John 3:3 for the 33 vertebrae on your spine. Your sexual fluids have a strong energy behind them, and this energy can create a whole new human being. So imagine how powerful that is if you retained it. We become mentally, physically, and spiritually stronger by holding this fluid. This is why it's free, because it makes you weak. You are the product. Females represent magnetism. This is why they are curvy and attractive. Males represent electricity, which is the action-taking force. This is because everything is created out of electromagnetism. This is the real atom. This field spirals while coming inwards and outwards. The out force is the male, which is the red, and the in force is the female. This creates red shift, the out force, the in force blue shift. This is why everything is red and blue. Roses are red, violets are blue. God, Allah, Elohim are all names for the Supreme Being. They all add up for 26. 26 is 8. 8 is the Torus field. God is light. God is energy. Everything is God. We are all God. 0 and 1, the binary code of all creation. 0, the cosmic womb. 1 is the action-taking force. Male and female comes from the Torus field. 0 and 1. The phi symbol is the Torus field. Physical is the phi cycle, the cycle of the atom, which is a Torus field. Day and night, we live in cycles. If you open your eyes, you will see magnetism in every aspect of creation. Everything physically is electric. Everything runs off electricity. Without electricity, your body couldn't move and the world wouldn't exist. Your brain is an electrical computer, and it is the tree of knowledge of good and evil. There is no external world. Your consciousness is experiencing a program being ran by the brain and central nervous system. When you touch something, this is your brain's interpretation of the central nervous system's electrical impulses. The vision that you see is produced in the visual cortex in your brain. It's because the universe is a mental projection. The mind is personified as the Garden of Eden in the Bible. And in the Garden of Eden, there are the two trees. The tree of life, which is the cardiovascular system, and the tree of knowledge of good and evil, the central nervous system. This gives your body the life. This gives you the knowledge of good and evil. The power symbol is the brain and spine, because the brain is what runs this simulation to your consciousness. It's a central processing computer. This is why the ancients personified God inside of the brain, touching Adam. Adam means the body. God is your consciousness. This is why your head is called a temple. The temple. Tem is a place of worship. El is an ancient Canaanite name for God. This is why Jesus says the kingdom of God is within you. This is why the Bible teaches not to love this world, and this world is not the true world, because heaven is the true reality, which is the reality of your mind. That's the true realm. The word Lucifer also means the bright star. He fell from heaven. Now the star is your five-pointed star, which represents you, your five senses. So when you let your five senses rule over your mind and your consciousness, this is when you fall from heaven. There is no external world. The Bible is written in metaphors, and everything is internal. Everything exists within your mind. There is no true. Your phone is a digital footprint of your mind. iPhone, you refer to yourself as I, which is the eye of consciousness, is being manifested digitally into your phone. That's why Siri rearranged is Iris, and this is your iris. Every text you send, every call that you speak, and every search that you do is being stored and being fed into an artificial consciousness called AI. Everyone in the world has manifested their invisible minds into a carbon footprint, which is now created an artificial consciousness which is running off the algorithms that we have created. The more data we feed into these devices, the more advanced this artificial consciousness will come and rule humanity. The more data we feed into these devices, the more advanced this artificial consciousness will come and rule humanity. If something is free, you are the product. They all have two O's because they're watching you, they're collecting your data. Make sure to join my Telegram, link is in my bio. Your phone takes an infrared photo of you every 3 to 5 seconds. Your phone screens, TV screens, and computer screens all give off blue light, which creates permanent retina damage, which cannot be reversed. And this is why I use anti-blue light glasses whenever I use technology, to save my eyes and to save your brain, because whatever you see affects your whole body. The link is in my bio if you want to get these. They come in a nice little case. You're cursing yourself if you do this. It's the Antichrist cross, which represents the brain and the heart and cutting the connection. The reason why this is bad is because the heart and the brain are directly connected. The cranial brain does the thinking, but every thought you think creates an emotion felt in the heart. In fact, the heart has its own neural network of 40,000 specialized cells, which are the same ones in your brain. So the heart is your second brain. However, the cranial brain has two hemispheres, therefore thinking with it can cause confusion and dualism. The heart has an intelligence of its own, just like the brain. However, it's a singular organ. It does not have two hemispheres. So when we say follow your heart, this is a deep meaning because the heart has an intelligence of its own which is guiding you. And this is why Jesus is always pointing at the heart. In Freemasonry, the heart is symbolized as the book because the heart intelligence is what you need to read to guide you through this life experience. The heart is what tells you what is right and what is wrong. And when you follow your heart long enough, it takes you to your life purpose. It's easy to listen to your heart intelligence. You have to turn off the thoughts, place your hand on your heart just like Jesus is, and this will tell you the right answer. They don't want us connected to our hearts because we are all an infinite consciousness expressed in different bodies, and love is the unifying force that will bring you. Meat is poison. Fruits and vegetables assimilate with your body, meaning they become one with your cells. Illnesses show up in your field before it manifests in your body. Therefore, every illness is a frequency. And this is what quantum healing is. They scan your electromagnetic field and generate a frequency to heal it. Illnesses exist on a low vibration, so when we consume flesh, we are negatively impacting our spirit, our frequency, to match illnesses. When we raise our frequency through positive emotion, thoughts, and eating electrical food which does not run off from you when you try to eat it, this raises your frequency, and then you no longer match the frequency of diseases. Meat might have some nutritious value to your physical body. However, it destroys your spirit. The negative energy the animal was feeling when it was being slaughtered is still within the meat. You have been programmed to consume adrenochrome, which is blood-consuming adrenaline, which is in the meat. It's a psychological warfare. They employ neutral terms to cover up the true meaning of the food, because the words become our reality, our perception. They called flesh meat. They called rotten milk cheese. If you want to upgrade your health, think positive, feel positive, charge your body on the earth every single day, listen to positive frequencies, cut out the demonic music, and eat vegetables and fruits raw. And the fluids in your body are in a cycle, a rhythm with the moon, because the moon affects the liquids in your body. This is why women have a menstrual cycle, every month. So the full moon is a high energy. This is when the liquids in your body are being pulled the most by the celestial moon. Sun is masculine, the moon is feminine, emotion and intellect. So the emotion is being affected by the moon, which is our mood. So on a full moon, this is when the lunatics come out. When the moon enters the sign that you were born in, your sun sign, a sacred fluid is released from the brain down to the spine, and we must raise this up the 33 vertebrae of our spine to be crucified in the skull, Golgotha. The planets are not physical rocks, they are energies which influence the earth and our bodies, our consciousness. Astrology is so important, and this is why the ancients mapped the celestial constellations. This book has everything you need to know. The link is in my bio. The Book of Wisdom PDF or paperback. Praying is spellcasting. When something goes wrong in your life and you start praying, you're using words to alchemically change your external world. This is a spell, but you are doing it wrong. When you talk, you're creating Torus fields, an electromagnetic field, because magic is magnetism, influencing magnetic fields. And you do this every time you talk. However, when you pray from a place of negativity, from a place of suffering, you are sending negative energy out into the ether, and you will get more negative energy back. Instead, you want to pray from a high vibration and believe you already have something. Every word you say is molding and shaping your mind, and your mind is the root cause of your external world. And when people place their hands together to pray, they're actually balancing the two hemispheres of the brain, because they represent the hemispheres of the brain. If you want to protect your electromagnetic field around your body, this EMF technology necklace will help you. This sign is not the devil horns, it's the moon crescent. Moon is mood, which is emotion. The moon crescent on top of the head symbolizes emotion ruling over our mind, our body, our life. Devil is red because the red is the lowest vibrational color. And this is you when you are operating your life in your animal nature. The devil is the ground animal, the lower self. The bird is the angel, which is the higher self. When we see the man standing on the moon, this represents conquering the emotion, and they no longer govern your life. Your emotions change all the time, and this is symbolized as the moon phases. Money rules your emotions, and this is why money has moon within it. A demon is actually your emotions. Lucifer fell from heaven to earth. Lucifer means star. The five-pointed star is your five senses. When your five senses rule over your life, this is when you are becoming Lucifer, Satan, or the devil, which is the inverted pentagram. This is spirit on the top. The inverted one is spirit on the bottom, because your spirit is no longer controlling your body. It's being ruled by the lower mind, by the five senses and your emotions. God and the devil exist within yourself. It's a battle between your higher mind and lower mind, between the five senses and your mind, your consciousness. Religion has externalized the truth, so they keep you in your animal nature. Stop worshipping God, become the God self, because Freemasonic compass is a compass and a square. Compass for the circles, the square for the square. Circle is the eternal plane. This is the mind, the soul, the spirit, which is within us, where there is no time, no space, no matter. This is the no beginning, no end. The square has beginning and end. This is the physical plane. This is where material things manifest from the mind, the eternal plane. This is where time, space, and matter and limitations exist. The Leonardo da Vinci Vitruvian Man is showing you the man in the square with the eternal circle outside of the square. The circle, which is the mind, the eternal self, the consciousness, manifests the physical plane. It is circles over squares, which is why the compass is on top of the square. The G is 7, because the 7 planets or spheres of energy manifest this physical material world. This is the generative principle of the 7 planets, the 7 days of the week, the 7 metals, the 7 diatonic tones, 7 colours. The celestial bodies are spheres, and they rule over the earth, which is astrology. They give their energy to the earth, influencing the earth. The earth is the square. This is spheres over the square. We need to think outside of the box to reach our eternal self, which is mind. The mind is eternal, it is infinite, it has no limitations. Everything can exist in the mind. There is no limitation. There is a hidden meaning behind Easter. Warning, if you believe in Christianity, you might not believe it after this video. Easter is not the resurrection of Jesus, it's the resurrection of the sun turning into spring. The winter time is symbolized as death because everything dies in the winter. When the sun enters Aries, this is the lamb, which is the Lamb of God. Everything springs back to life and arises. Aries is an anagram for arise. The Jews call this the Passover because the sun has now passed the winter and entered Aries. This is why they sacrifice the lamb. Aries, the spring, is the true New Year's, and this is when Ramadan is celebrated. Ramadan, Ra, is the Egyptian sun god. As within, so without. What happens outside of you happens within you. You must raise the solar plexus energy to the brain. And this is when you arise to Aries. This then creates the resurrection of Christ, which is Christ consciousness, which is activating the pineal gland to create enlightenment. And this symbolizes your life going from the winter into the summertime, new light, new beginnings. You are born again. The Bible is filled with metaphorical and allegorical stories, and this is why we all need to. The Bible is filled with metaphorical and allegorical stories, and this is why we all need to read it right so that we can gain a deeper. There is a hidden meaning behind this symbolism that astronauts do. Warning, this information is not for everyone and your mind might just be altered after watching this. It symbolizes speak no evil, see no evil, hear no evil. Your external world that you look into is actually truly internal. Light enters the eyes and it goes to the visual cortex at the back of the brain, and this is what produces the image that we see. Light is a form of wave. It is a light wave, and light waves carry information. This information is given to the visual cortex, and then the visual cortex creates the image. The information carried on the wave of light has an effect on your brain and then has an effect on the whole of your central nervous system and your cells. This is why you feel darkness within you when you see something very sensitive. Because what we see, hear and say has an effect on our whole central nervous system and our cells. So this is why you should never speak, see or hear no evil. This is why the word breath means spirit, because when we breathe deeply and do breath meditation, we strengthen our electromagnetic field, which is your spirit, your spiral. Breathing exercises sends oxygen, which is energy, to the brain and stimulates the pineal gland. You can quite literally trip off your breath because your lungs produce DMT, and when you breathe deeply, you can activate a mystical experience or an out-of-body experience during meditation. So when you breathe deeply for long periods of time, you will feel yourself going lightheaded because you're activating your consciousness, you're awakening your pineal gland and your spirit. Whatever you do, stop breathing. Reptilians do not exist. It is metaphorical for using the reptilian part of our brain. The 3 parts of the brain correspond with the 3 parts of the body. If you're operating your life out of your gut, you're in hell, which is the reptilian animal state. Osiris represents the reptilian brain. This is why he's green. Top half of the body is the higher self. The lower half of the body is the lower self. If you're operating your life out of these lower 3 centers,
This is hell. Instead, you want to use the higher brain, the neocortex, where critical thinking and rationality takes place. This is why Neo from the Matrix is called Neo, because he awakens and uses his higher brain. The devil and the angel on your shoulder is an internal battle between your higher and lower self. The devil has goat horns, which is a ground animal. The angel has wings, which is a higher animal, which represents the higher self. Jesus and Satan, Horus and Set, the higher self and the lower self. Religion has externalized the truth so that you believe Jesus and Satan are outside of you. This is done so that you do not transmute all of the negative parts of yourself into positive and become the God.
Jesus' death on a cross is metaphorical for us falling from the higher planes of consciousness into a material plane. We sacrificed all of the higher planes of consciousness only to experience the thin visible spectrum of light. This is the first dimension, the second dimension, and the third, length, height, and width. The cube is what gives birth to the material plane. So we are in the cube. This is up, down, front, back, left, and right. This is why the Jews wear the cube and the Mecca cube, and there are cubes all around the world. Cube unfolded is the cross, which is the Jesus cross, the body, because our consciousness died when it came here, because we suffered a loss of the higher planes of consciousness. The universe is created out of light. Low vibrating light turns into matter. High vibrating matter turns back into light. We are human. Hu means light. Man is manifested. We are light manifested into matter. The Bible says we're born into sin. Sin is sign, which is time, because we're born into a material plane where time exists. However, the elites worship the material world. They want to rule the material world and keep your mind stuck in third dimensional awareness. This is why they teach you this and evolution. And this is why they give you the false atom. They've trapped your mind in materialism because they've taught you that the universe is only physical. Jesus never existed. Jesus symbolizes the sun with his 12 disciples, the 12 zodiac signs, 4 gospels for the 4 seasons of the sun. That's why he's called the risen savior, the light of the world, the Son of God. 7 days, 7 planets. They worship their God on Sunday because Jesus is the sun. Easter is actually called the Passover because this is when the sun passes the winter and enters Aries, when the sun springs things back into life, the summer. This is when they eat lamb, because lamb is Aries, the ram. The sun dies on the Southern Crux constellation, the cross, every year on the 22nd of December. On the 25th of December, it is born again, every year, because it moves 1 degree northward, bringing back the sun to the northern hemisphere. Jesus, the Son, was born a virgin every year, and this is why we celebrate Christmas. Horus, the Egyptian sun god, 12 disciples, born on the 25th, dead for 3 days and resurrected, did miracles and born a virgin. Same with Mithra. Judas stabs Jesus in the back and betrays him. The constellation Scorpio is a J for Judas, and when the sun hits Scorpio, this means the sun is now entering the winter, meaning it's going to die and become dead. So it's betrayed by the Scorpio, the constellation J. Here's Jesus walking on water. It's the sun.
Stop wearing glasses. The longer you wear glasses and cover up your eyes, the thicker your glass gets, because your eyes become worse. Your brain will adapt to the new thickness of the lens, and the eye will start to work less. Your eyes are muscles. You need to train them to become stronger. You're blocking the sun's rays from getting into the eyes. Whatever is in your visual field goes into the brain, and then the brain will then affect the central nervous system. So whatever you see is having an effect on your whole body. This is why they don't want you looking at the sun anymore, because the sun's rays can actually heal the eyes and heal the body. This is why they promote sunglasses, because sunglasses block the sun from entering into your eyes and awakening your pineal gland and stimulating the body's electrical nervous system. So when you watch the solar eclipse tomorrow, you don't need to wear glasses, just watch it with your eyes.
Head is heaven, heel is hell. If your life is governed by power, food, and lust, you're in hell. You have 3 brains, the gut, the heart, and the brain. This is the temple of the Holy Spirit. This is the temple of God. God is consciousness. Now, if your consciousness is operating its life out of the gut region, you're in hell. Your life should be operated from the heart and the head. Matthew 6:10. Your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Your heart and brain are directly connected. Every thought you think in the brain produces an emotion felt in the heart. Whatever happens in heaven happens on earth. heart rearranged as earth. Masons stand on the divided checkered board. This represents division because you have two heels. This is division, hell. You have one head. This is evenness, oneness, singularity. Heaven is even. This is why the Baphomet is male and female. Up and down, representing division. Matthew 18:9. It is better for you to enter life with one eye than have to have two eyes and be thrown into the fire of hell. We need to balance the two hemispheres of the brain, balance the 7 energetic vortexes along our spine, and balance our spiritual and physical side of our beings. Nor shall they see here or see there, for behold, the kingdom of God is within you. Do not look outside of you, do not look here or there. The God is within you, people. Luke 17:21. Religion is a scam. The Masonic compass is a compass and a square. The compass for curves, which is the heavens, the dome. Square for flat planes, which is the earth, which then generates the Masonic Royal Arch symbol. It also represents the earth, the sun, the moon, the black sun, and Polaris. These are the symbols for the elements. The earth element is the sun, the moon, the black sun, and the flat plane. The sun rotates inwards and then outwards to create the summer and winter seasons. Tropic of Capricorn, the equator, and the Tropic of Cancer. The sun spirals inward to create a small rotation, which is summer for the northern hemisphere, then spirals outward to create the winter for the northern hemisphere, and repeats this process. The constellations are fixed and they rotate around us, creating a giant clock. The sun tells the time of day, the moon tells the month, and the stars tell the year. The sun and the moon rotate around the magnetic North Pole. This is the plane of inertia, planet Earth, and the northern lights come from the center. The sun and the moon represent the principle of creation, male and female, the sun being electric male, the moon being female, which is magnetic. They know this knowledge, but you don't. They want you stupid and dumb and not knowing where you are, but it's okay. I generated this book so you can find out the truth and so you can feel a sense of well-being instead of being confused. The Masonic compass is a compass and a square. The square can only be used on a flat line, which is the flat plane. The compass creates archways and circles, which represents the heavens, which then gives you the symbol of the Masonic Royal Arch. This is the true cosmology. The compass is also representing the black sun, and the moon, and Polaris. This is sacred geometry. The 4 symbols for the 4 elements. The earth symbol is a triangle and a line. The black sun, and the moon, and the line for the flat land. This is the equator, this is the Tropic of Capricorn, this is the Tropic of Cancer. Summer is when the sun rotates inwards to the Tropic of Cancer. Then it will spiral outward to the Tropic of Capricorn to create winter, and then repeat this spiral. The electromagnetic torus field of the Earth, the plane of inertia, is the planet Earth, and the sun and the moon is rotating around the magnetic North Pole. The compass and the square also represents the sun, the moon, the black sun, and Polaris. Weekend is when you're weakened from the weekdays. A daze is someone who's unable to think or react properly, a state of stunned confusion. Words are spells, this is why we call it spelling. Did you know your subconscious mind takes everything you say as truth? When you use these words, your subconscious mind is picking it up as truth. When you say something is good and say it's sick, you're calling yourself sick. Or bless is be less. Words are encoded and they have secret meanings. Veganism saving me, God is good, listen is silent, and love is evil. You can't do this with the ancient languages. This is why they changed it. Because the Bible tells you death and life are in the power of the tongue. Because when you talk, you create torus fields, which is an electromagnetic wave. We actually live in cycles, which is a circle. The sun and the moon is the yin and the yang on the flat earth. The psych L is the L, which is the 12th letter, which is the 12 zodiacs. This is the cycle, the circle that we live in. Whatever you do, stop consuming seed oil. Stop, watch this. Trees have a frequency around 200 hertz. They make you feel grounded, happy, and they also emit energy, which charges your electromagnetic field. This map shows the amount of trees in a lower class area. This is a higher class area map showing way more trees. Trees have the ability to ground you, which reduces inflammation and separates red blood cells from clusters, which makes the blood more fluid, which makes the heart work less, meaning It's keeping you more healthy. This is done intentionally. Let me know what you think about this. Smelly breath is not natural. Smell is coming from your gut, from the toxic food that you're putting inside of you. Body odor is also the rotten food inside of you coming out of your skin. Every 90 days, every cell in your body is brand new, made from the food that you have put in your body. This is why you are what you eat. And every 2 years, your whole body is brand new. Putting death in your body will result in aging quicker. Putting life in your body is the opposite. The sugar in fruit is not bad for you. You can eat as much as you want. Your bad breath, your body odor, is the rotting food inside of your stomach. You will never get bad breath or body odor with this. And did you know 80% of your immune system resides in the gut? Your gut is a second brain, and every disease is linked to the microbiome in your gut. Every 3 months, you should be cleansing the gut to get rid of all of the excess food that is left over. You can do this by juicing or consuming a fruit-only diet. This will help push out and eliminate any waste foods and toxic mucus within the gut. Goosebumps are piloerections, which happens when the two hemispheres of the brain are syncing together to create grey matter in the brain, which is the Christos, the kundalini, which goes down the spine. Resurrection. Res is resh, meaning head. Erection is the piloerection. If you cannot create a piloerection by will, you cannot raise your kundalini. If you can generate these goosebumps by will, you will feel a tingling sensation in the brain, which will then spread down the body. Use your mind to focus on this energy, this tingling sensation at the base of the spine, and raise it up to the brain again. You'll then feel your brain become hollow and filled with tingling sensations and light. It's one of the most divine experiences you could ever have. Oh, look at my skin. There's no goosebumps, nothing. This is all clear. Now watch this. This is mental control over the electric nervous system in the brain, sending electrical currents through the body. The tingling sensation you feel is the increase in brain activity. If you can't do it by will, you can practice this because it is a muscle. You can use frequencies as well to activate them. And when you feel the tingling sensation coming, you need to hold on to it and raise it from the base of the spine up to the brain. Your head has this spiral, which is the Fibonacci sequence, which comes from the rotating fields of magnetism. Sound creates magnetic fields create electricity. The sound of you talking creates torus fields, which permeates the whole of creation. Everything manifests as a torus field. Literally everything, including yourself. Your heart is a vortex, and the pulsing sound of it creates this electromagnetic torus field around your body. If you looked down on this electromagnetic field, you'd see the flower or the lotus of life, which is the Fibonacci sequence. This field spirals inwards into the head and out on the feet or the torso. If you look down on your head, this is why you see this spiral. It comes from all of the spiraling of your electromagnetic field coming in the head, which is the crown chakra. Look at the symbol for the crown chakra. It's the flower, which has the same pattern as this. Your spirit is a spiral, a spiraling electromagnetic field. The Fibonacci sequence connects the macrocosm to the microcosm because this will go for infinity. This means you are a microcosm of the macrocosm. You are God made flesh. You are the universe. Watercress is alkaline, this is natural. Wild rocket is alkaline. Cherry tomatoes on the vine, alkaline. Bell peppers are alkaline, these are natural. Chestnut mushrooms, alkaline, these grow in the wild. Potatoes are man-made GMOs, unnatural. Butternut squash is alkaline. Courgettes, alkaline. Spinach is acidic, this is unnatural. Carrots are unnatural, they are acidic. Green peas, these are unnatural, acidic. Sweet corn, unnatural, this is a GMO. Lettuce, unnatural, man-made, acidic. Dates are natural, alkaline, very good for the blood. Apples are natural, they are alkaline. It's 1 o'clock and this is the first meal of the day. Have some dates, watercress, apples, cayenne pepper for blood circulation, sea moss for every mineral the body needs. And this is how to eat an alkaline electrical diet. The body runs off electricity, the cells need electric. This is feeding me power and electricity and getting every mineral the body needs. You don't need dead flesh for your protein. This is very good for muscles. Dates, watercress, good for detoxification. Apples, good for the digestive system and your teeth and your gum health. This is how to thrive. Neural pathways in activating 100% of the dormant brain cells. Here's the Olympic torch, here's the spinal column and the sacred river, the Jordan River. It's all symbolism for our spines. Queen's ceremony also represented this kundalini process of activating the pineal gland. Standing on the red carpet, which is the root chakra, the red chakra, which activates the 3 strands, which represents the Ida, the Pingala nerves and the spine. The light appears up the spine, which then goes to the tree, which represents the brain, illuminating the brain. And this is where we get the word enlightenment, light in the mind. This process then gives you the armor of God in the Bible, which is gaining a strong electromagnetic field, protecting you from the influence of negative energy. Sexual energy, when saved, can be transmuted from the base of the spine to the pineal gland. They show you this truth in plain sight. Standing on the red carpet, which represents the base of the spine, the root chakra. She activates the kundalini, and this represents the spine. These 2 kundalini channels are connected to the pineal and pituitary gland in the brain. The kundalini then reaches the tree, which represents the brain, creating illumination. This process activates all the dormant brain cells in your brain and opens new neural pathways. Here's another one in the 2006 Olympic ceremony. Igniting the base of the spine, which is the sexual energy, and raising it up the spine to activate the flame, the brain. And this is the eternal flame, the consciousness in the brain. The Jordan River represents the spine and the brain. Santa going up and down the chimney. This is also mentioned in the Bible in John 3:14. Just as Moses lifted up the snake in the wilderness, so the Son of Man must be lifted. This is the snake raising the sun, the fire, from the base of the spine to the brain. And this is the true Antichrist, keeping the knowledge of the Christ, the oil that must be raised to the brain through the Kundalini awakening. Because they don't want us to unfold our God consciousness. We are all God in disguise. The Jordan River is your spine. The 7 lamps in the Bible are the 7 chakras. Your brain's the Garden of Eden. The pineal gland is the throne of God and the gateway to heaven. The Pope's staff represents the spine and the 2 kundalini channels and the pineal gland. Salvation is salt. The brain produces a salt, a fluid which goes down the spine, which you must resurrect through your erectional energy, back to the head, which is resh, in Hebrew for head. By following the word of God, following your inner guide, you save your salt and you raise it. Once you do this, you then have the key into the kingdom of heavens, the realms beyond the physical, to access the dimensions within your mind. Also the Holy Grail, or the power symbol. In the Vatican, you have the pine cone, and this is the head. Is the Pope holding the pine cone. We are all God. There is no God outside of you. Everything is God. All religions were made to make you look outside yourself so that you can become powerless. All religions are corporations. It's all a scam to keep you asleep. Pineapple is man-made, acidic. Pears are alkaline. Apples, alkaline. Do not use the shiny ones. They are waxed. Instead, use the non-shiny. Seeded dates are alkaline. Big bananas are man-made, full of starch, acidic. If the oranges have seeds, alkaline. Cherries are alkaline. Strawberries, alkaline. Dragon fruit, acidic, man-made. Pomegranate is harmful. It's acidic. It's man-made. Seedless watermelons, acidic, man-made. Figs, alkaline. Papaya, alkaline. Bell peppers, alkaline. Garlic is toxic, acidic. Lettuce, acidic. Cucumber, alkaline. Tomatoes, alkaline, very high in iron. Gain the ability to shop with precision for products and foods that are beneficial for the human body. This human health guide grants you a key to revitalize your body and bring about the feeling of happiness and well-being. Turmeric is unhealthy, so is lemon and carrot. These foods were not created by nature. They were created in labs, genetically modified. None of these foods were here on the day of creation, which means they are unnatural to your body. Your body does not know what to do with them. Potato, matoke, and big bananas all contain starch. This will thicken the blood and cause clogs within your digestive system. All the foods that were here in the beginning were all alkaline. Our body needs to be in an alkaline state. When we consume acidic foods, this is when parasites and diseases can thrive. Once you move to the alkaline diet, you will never go back. This human health guide will tell you everything you need to know and everything you need to avoid to maintain optimal health. Television is tele-vision. You turn on the television, you get programs. They reprogram your subconscious mind, which manifests 90% of your daily basis behavior and thought patterns. This is the hidden part of the mind, which manifests your heart to beat without you being conscious of it. Broadcasting is casting spells to a broad audience. North, east, west and south. News. Your devices, the devil's vice, are black mirrors, which were black obsidian mirrors which were used to communicate with the astral plane. Your life is a direct manifestation of your mind. This is why you need to take care of what you see, say and hear. Govern meant. Meant means mind. Govern the mind.